We strive. Welcome to Season 2 of the WeStrive podcast. We interview entrepreneurs who are hustling, have had exits, and are out there changing the world day by day. Entrepreneurship is all about getting places that you weren't supposed to get to. It's about creating something out of nothing, and the people we interview do just that. I'm your host, Corey McCain, CEO of the WeStrive fitness platform, launching this December. If you want shares in our company, head to wefunder.com/WeStrive and check us out. Thanks again for listening every week, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. Hey, WeStrive listeners. This week we have Hirsch, who created InstaSteam, which is the most genius thing I've never even come close to thinking of. This is amazing. Basically, it's a pod that you can drop into whatever bag is carrying your suit or t-shirt, and within a couple of minutes, it will steam your shirt. You don't need electricity. You don't need water. You literally just drop the pod in there, and it starts going. I don't understand the science behind it because it's way beyond my knowledge of science, but absolutely amazing. This guy just thought of this while he was in Europe, and they started creating the product. They've been featured on HSN, and it's amazing. I'm excited for you guys to hear his story. Here is Hirsch.
So I'm Hirsch. I am the CEO and founder of a company called Pristine Products, otherwise known as our product InstaSteam. And it's a product that I created about 2 years ago now. And that's my main gig. And, I'm also currently, involved in other businesses and helping other people start their businesses as well.
Very cool. So is there technology behind the InstaSteam, or was it just a quick, you're like, oh, this is super obvious? How did you come up with it?
So I started off, I was, studying abroad out of the country. And while, traveling Europe and in school, I realized that it was also my first time doing laundry. So I realized that it wasn't that easy to, do laundry and then go through every single piece of clothing and steam them or iron them. It just takes forever. So after realizing that I travel with a garment bag all the time, I was like, if there's a way to steam my clothing inside the garment bag that I'm already traveling with, and I already hang it up in my hotel room or wherever I'm going, if that somehow could steam my clothing for me and I could just take it out and it's ready to go, that would be amazing. So I basically made a sketch video, told a couple of people about my idea, and, everyone loved it. I have a whole book of ideas. Most people come up with ideas and they're like, oh, that's so cool, but you never actually come out with it. But I came up with this concept and I showed it to people. I showed people my little sketch video, showed it to some random person sitting next to me on the plane ride home, and everyone loved it. So when I got back to LA, after my year abroad, I started working on it, and I actually, I bought different materials. I bought anything that could possibly heat up water. I was researching, what temperature I need to heat up water. I was trying to figure out how I can make it fast and not just, another, steamer that takes forever. So after a bunch of testing and buying different things, I, found the right, minerals that I needed to heat up the water. I ended up having designed the pod, to be insulated because the minerals make the water get up to 200-300 degrees, which is why it steams so fast. So I had to modify the chemicals, figure out, how many grams I needed, how much water with those amount of grams, had to figure out the right insulation for it so that, the heat doesn't actually escape and burn people, and then figure out what type of plastic to put on the outside as well to make the bag that also doesn't absorb heat. So it took a lot of testing to really figure out how to make that work. In the beginning, it was just a crazy concept to, it was one of those concepts where what if my clothing could get steamed inside a garment bag without me having to do any work? It sounds crazy. But I ended up making it work.
And I could never do that, first of all. That's awesome. So do you have a background in chemistry, or were you kind of just messing around with stuff? No,
I was saying the extent of my background in chemistry is high school. I have no other background in chemistry really. Almost everything I do, I pretty much figure out on my own. It's all research. I kind of teach myself how to do these things by asking people in the field, that's why we have Google. Also, Google's amazing to be able to search stuff and be able to learn new information. So I kind of just taught myself pretty much everything. I knew very little about business in the beginning. Um, and very little about creating products as well. I had a little bit of like, you know, I was in the entrepreneur environment my entire life, really, because my parents are entrepreneurs, but no one really did what I'm doing right now. So I kind of had to figure it out on my own, and constantly be talking to people that have done it before to figure out how to do it.
And what do your parents do? Are they like you said they're entrepreneurs? Are they like salespeople? Are they like inventors? Like what do they do?
Yeah, so my dad works for the CW, Warner Brothers. He also owns a charter company. He's owned go-kart businesses. He's owned multiple businesses, and he's always starting new ones. And he's working on some right now as well. And my mother's a real estate agent. Um, you know, she's one of the top real estate agents here in Los Angeles, and she's also has her staging business on the side, and she's constantly doing new things as well, and dipping her feet into other things. Um, so I kind of like learned from both my parents. I grew up as an entrepreneur, basically watching them do their thing.
That's such a cool like role model to have in the house growing up. So what did this take financially to get going? Did you only spend like a couple $100 in the chemicals, or was it like super expensive? I mean, like um, pre like sales orders, like how much did you spend on the up and up before you started getting sales?
So I pretty much have one of those classic stories where I was, a college student. I didn't have that much money to really just throw into my company and just blow it up. So I really, in total, until I was able to bring in my first investor and really started manufacturing like my first samples or first order, I really only spent like $600 or $700 total in my like research and creating working samples and doing it myself. And I was literally in the beginning, I was going to the market and buying bags of shredded cheese, pouring out the cheese, and then cutting the bag of cheese to the right size that I needed it to, and then using like a hair iron to seal the bag. And I would make one of my little pods from scratch and test it. And then that's how I pretty much did it in the beginning until I was able to bring in an investor and fund making actual working sample. I mean, I had working samples, make actual like good looking working samples, and start giving them out to other people to try it out.
Dude, that is so cool. I'm definitely taking that for a soundbite. That is awesome, man. Wait, so did your parents end up investing, or did you find outside angels, or who ended up being the first big investor?
So obviously my parents are always supportive, but they didn't invest in the beginning. They were always helping me out, and they were there for advice and telling me whenever I had a question, I was able to just go to both my parents and ask them. My first investor, money wise, was an angel investor, um, and he got me started. He was more like a mentor, angel investor, type person. He really got me started. Helped me with the design and helped me make my first like 50 samples to be able to start testing it with people and grow it from there. And then he got me started. We were able to get our first order and manufacture it, and then we started selling it a little bit. I started working on some deals, and once I grew it a little bit, I was able to bring on a second investor, to put in a little bit more money and start spending money on some marketing, and start growing the company even more.
That's awesome, man. And so, have you always been an entrepreneur, or was it kind of just like you're just like, hey, I can do this, I guess, whatever. Like, or was it always kind of like in your bones, I guess, or in your blood because your parents are doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess because I grew up around entrepreneurs, I kind of always had in my blood. I was always one of those kids that always kind of wanted to grow up fast and just be an adult already. And I always dreamt of owning my own business one day, and creating products and stuff like that. I was always a creative person. Originally I wanted to do engineering, and I took engineering in high school. I loved using AutoCAD and creating stuff. I was a very creative person, so I knew I was going to do something like that. And after starting in engineering and realizing that there's no way I'm doing physics and all that science because I hated it, I kind of figured out. I moved towards business, and at the same time was starting this current business. Creating InstaSteam, and yeah, I have like a whole book of ideas. I'll like randomly just sit down at night or in my bed and just sketch something, or write down a new idea that I think is cool or might want to do one day.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've got literally like an entire Google Sheets document of pages of different businesses and different ideas I want to start. But like obviously they all take money and time, so it's so hard to do all that. That's so cool though, man. So at what point did you realize that you think could be like a big thing? I mean, obviously when you first have the idea, you're like, this is going to be huge. But at what point did you sit down and go like, if I actually apply myself right now, this is actually an amazing product that I've built. I think this could be huge. Like, at what point did that hit?
I mean, it's hard with the business because you never know what's going to happen. Some businesses could blow up and then fail, even after they blow up. But I mean, I guess, throughout the length of my business, there's been ups and downs where I would be like super excited because I had a lot of interest. And then, there'd be times where I was, a little bit sad because, things weren't happening the way I wanted them to. I mean, it took a while. I mean, I always believed in the product. I think what made me excited is when I saw other people believing in the product as well. So I guess it took until like I was able to really give it out to, tons of people and see their reactions from it. That really made me excited, to really continue growing it and, put all my effort into it. Um, and Yeah, I mean, even now, like, it's still not humongous now, but I was on HSN a couple times already. We launched on a couple other platforms. And we've sold all over the world already. And I have amazing feedback. We get very little bad feedback from InstaSteam, and most of the bad feedback we get is just people that either really didn't know how to use it, or they just their expectations were too high, and you know they didn't they thought it was just going to be magic, and like poof, it's like a portable dry cleaner. Um, but yeah, we have people that just swear by it, and we have college students, business people, lawyers, like everyone just using this all over the place. I think that's really what got me excited is when I saw like that initial like launch, and I saw people really loving it. It made me feel really good that I created something that makes people happy and that they can use.
Reviews will kill you, and especially dumb reviews. Because I mean, I was interviewing some guy in here named Alexander, and he has this cutting board product. It's like amazing. It was like, sorry, not cutting board. It's like this amazing like cutlery thing where it's for your kitchen. You can pretty much have like all of your entire prepping for when you're making food. Like you can put tomatoes in here and then this in here, and it's like this 30 things in one tool. And he had people that were leaving bad reviews because it didn't fit on their counter. And he's like, I mean, the dimensions are literally listed on the page. I don't know how to like, like I don't know how to like do anything differently. I told you how big it was. You're upset about how big it was. Like I don't, So I mean, it's so crazy how you literally just can't control reviews. So that's awesome that you guys have really solid reviews just starting off. So how did you end up getting on HSN in the first place? Was it kind of like you had a connection, or you applied for the show, or how did that work?
So I mean, it started with a connection that my first investor had. He connected me to someone that worked for a cruise line, because our product InstaSteam is like the first product that's allowed on airplanes and cruise ships now because it's electricity free and non-flammable. So it's like a big deal. And so he connected me to someone in one of the cruise line companies, and that person passed me along to someone in the right department in the cruise line company, and that person actually originally was I think the president of HSN. And so once I became friendly with him, and he's been helping me out a lot, he actually just put me directly in touch with HSN, and um, that's how I got into HSN, through a connection.
That's genius too. I mean, I think, like you said, I mean, cruise lines and airplanes are such a cool targets because, I mean, obviously, like no electricity required. You can be literally lost at sea and still iron your clothes or get your clothes steamed. So, I mean, are those the primary target markets that you're going after, or is it the everyday person?
Yeah, I mean, one of our biggest markets is travel. So, we have the cruise lines and the airplanes, and, all the business travelers and regular travelers that just go for vacation. It's definitely one of our biggest markets. But we also have a big, in the business market, we also have a big market, you know, just in like daily travel, going to work, or, just quick at home uses when people don't have time. So it's a split between travel and people using it to save time. So it has like two uses. It's a time saver, and it's also an amazing option to use while traveling that saves time and money, and is convenient. So we have lawyers using it, when they're in court. We have people using it, on their way to their office or at home when they're like in a rush to go to work. They have to, steam their clothing quickly. They don't have time to stand there steaming it with the hand iron. So they just, use InstaSteam quickly and then run out to work. And it's also just convenient. You put it into the garment bag and it steams the whole thing at the same time. With the travel steam, with a handheld steamer, a travel steamer, you have to stand there, looking for all the wrinkles on your shirt. Sometimes you miss stuff, and it takes forever to just do it. So we have a pretty big market.
I am that guy. Like when you said when you were traveling, you were like, "Oh well, obviously you need to have all your clothes steamed." Blah blah blah. I was like, that is not obvious to me. I never have my clothes steamed. I'm like the worst person. I probably steam my clothes like maybe once every. I'm not even gonna say two. I'm gonna say once every 3 months. I rarely. I have wrinkles all the time. I just don't care, and I know, and I don't care because I don't really notice it, and then I'll see myself in a picture, and I'm like, oh, that's super embarrassing. So with that being said, I love your product because the reason I don't steam my clothes because I don't feel like sitting there and steaming. Also, I feel like I'm not very good at it. So I mean, if I could just drop a little like little laundry detergent type thing into a bag and then just steam it, that's amazing. I mean, the fact that I don't have to do anything, like I can see this absolutely blowing up. And another thing too is that's so cool that you can do it on the go too. Like I can picture people in New York, like I mean, not as much in LA because you don't do too much walking over here, but people's picture in New York, like they can just be walking with their, whatever they say garment. I don't really know. I don't even know the word of it. Whatever holds your freaking suit or whatever. Uh, I can see people walking with that, and then it can just automatically steam their clothes for them. So, I mean, I think that's revolutionary. I mean, that's going to save people so much time. I mean, if you buy enough of them, you can always just have your clothes steamed and just on demand. So that's genius.
You can literally use it while you're walking to your office, when you get to your office and you just walk into your office, use it right away, put on your shirt, and you're good to go. Use it in your car. You hang it on the hook in the back seat while you're driving, and as soon as you get to work, you just throw it on, and you're good to go. So there's tons of amazing uses for it, whether you're in a rush, whether you're traveling. It's just an extremely convenient way to make your clothing look a little bit more fresh and wearable.
And I can see maybe an expansion product down the line where it actually like washes your clothes too. Again, I don't understand technology in any way, but that'd be sick.
So we're actually working on making like a little kit. Right now we have the starter kit that's just InstaSteam. So it comes with the pods and the garment bag, but we're actually working on a bigger kit that comes with stain removal wipes, and it comes with deodorizer spray and everything. So it kind of like gives you the full effect of like a portable dry cleaner type of thing. So you can steam your clothing. If you have a little stain, you can get it out. Spray it. With a little scent. And we're also making the pods scented also, so you can actually pick a scent or flavor that you want if you like to have like your clothing smell a specific way, or if they smell bad after a trip.
That is genius. Okay, I'm pumped now. It's so what is the pricing model look like for this? Like not from your side, but as a consumer.
So when I created it, I tried to make it competitive to dry cleaning because that's what people were looking at it as. Even though it's not a dry cleaner, and it's more of a travel steamer, you kind of have to do what the customers are looking at it as. So I tried creating it so that when you buy the kit, the pods come out to $3 to $5 a pod, depending on which kit you're buying. So that it's pretty competitive to dry cleaning. So that way, each pod can usually steam, depending on the type of clothing you're doing, between 1 to 3 garments. So you're really getting a better price than a dry cleaner. So if you're really just going to the dry cleaner because you feel like your clothing isn't fresh, or if there's no stain in your clothing and you just need to steam it out, InstaSteam is going to end up being cheaper than going to the dry cleaner pretty much. And then, the more pods you buy, obviously the more discount we give you. So if you buy a bigger pack of pods, then you're getting an even better price on per pod. So our model is really to try to keep it competitive and try to keep it in a price point where everyone can use it. And we don't want to it's not made to just be a luxury product. It's on a convenient product. It's made to be something that everyone can use. And we're going to be expanding to do two different versions of InstaSteam so that we have a more luxurious version and then we have one that that everyone can buy. But the goal in general is to keep it a product that everyone can use.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, like, I would rather pay for this than to go to a dry cleaner either way. So I mean, as long as the price is pretty competitive, that's yeah. I mean, that's you're saving time, you're saving money from having to travel to and from the dry cleaner. I mean, you're saving so many things. So I mean, I think that's a good price model.
It's like exactly what you said. It's not you can't just look at it as like, oh, the dry cleaner is $5 and I'm paying $5 for an InstaSteam. You look at it as like, the dry cleaner, I have to go to the dry cleaner. It's for one thing, and I have to drive there and I have to wait whatever amount of days to have it done. With InstaSteam, even if it's competitive pricing, you have to look at it as it's within 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, you're going to have your clothing ready for you. And, it's going to end up being the same price, if not cheaper.
How dry are the clothes? Are they a little damp sometimes, or is it like too hot to put on? Like, what's the typical, like, is it like the same every time, or is there like an average like uh, dampness or like dryness? I guess is what I'm trying to ask. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it is a steamer. So like any other steamer, like sometimes you'll have like, steam is moisture. Steam is water. It's water that's evaporating. Um, So yes, with InstaSteam, depending on how long you're leaving it in there for, or what type of garment you're doing, sometimes you'll see like little wet spots. Sometimes it'll be dry. Sometimes it'll be a little damp. But pretty much when you take it out, if you let it hang for like a minute or whatever, just wave it around, or like when as soon as you take it out, it pretty much just starts drying right away. So you don't really have to worry about having something that's soaking wet. It's not getting soaking wet in there. But it is moisture and it is water that's being trapped into the garment bag. So you do have to expect to see like maybe a couple wet spots here and there. But most of the time you'll get lucky and you'll see nothing. You can put it straight on.
I wanted to ask too, like, are you guys mainly online, or are you gonna move into stores soon, or are you already in stores, or where are you at with that?
So we're mostly online now, especially the times that we're in. Everything's kind of moving digital, moving to online e-commerce. So we started online and we kept it there for right now. And so we're on Amazon. We're on all the online platforms you can imagine. We're also working with online retailers like HSN and Touch of Modern and stuff like that. And we're planning on moving into stores slowly. That's like a second step, to creating a product. It's not, you don't really jump into going into stores. But I think we're at that stage now, and we're gonna actually start moving into stores, physical stores now.
Yeah, I think going into stores would be a good choice, but not like on like a crazy scale. I think it's good to have like a physical presence, but I mean, like you said, I really think it's it's in some way, as far as like a sales number goes, it can be a huge waste of money and a huge drain of time and a miserable process. But I think like having that physical presence gives you more of like a good, like a better status, I guess. Like if I can see you in the store, then you're legit, because I feel like anyone can put a product on Amazon, but like it's pretty difficult to get in the stores. So, but I mean, but obviously, like you said, I mean, there's way better margins, and it's a lot easier online though, for sure. That's cool though, man. So you keep saying we. So what does that entail? Like, do you have like a full team? Do you have like some offshore? Like, what does your team encompass?
I always like to refer as we, because anyone that I have on my team is, we're a team. We're not. It's not just me running the company with employees. I look at everyone as a team. So I have a couple investors. I have my marketing guy, account manager. I have a couple people in the warehouse. And I've different people that I talk to. So I like to refer to it as a we rather than an I. Because we're a team working all together. It's not just me doing everything. So we don't have a huge team, but we have a few people right now.
Very cool, man. So you told me before you had like a business partner. Is he like an employee or like a co-founder, or like what is his role in the company?
So we have no co-founder. I'm the founder on my own. I have a few investors that invested, are giving me advice, connections, stuff like that. And then I have the people that actually work in my office are employees. So I have a guy in the office that's doing my marketing, kind of helping me manage all the e-commerce platforms. And then I have a couple people in my warehouse that are helping fulfill orders, packaging the product, stuff like that. I don't have like a partner per se, like a co-founder, but I have investors and employees that we all work together.
co-founders can be good or bad. I mean, I technically have co-founders, but like not really. I don't know. It's complicated, but you can go either way. You don't necessarily need co-founders, but as long as you have a solid team around you, that's awesome. Uh, so what are your next steps for marketing? I mean, like, so you're obviously on HSN. I mean, what are you doing to get your name out there? Are you doing like influencer marketing, lots of social media? Like, what's your strategy about that?
So it's a good question because there's no right answer to marketing. I've spoken to many marketing people, trying to get advice. What should we do? How do we market this product? And there's really no right answer. Every product is completely different, and especially InstaSteam. When you have a product like InstaSteam, and it's a completely new concept for people, and they have no idea what it is. And when they see it, they're like, it amazes them, but they have so many questions. A lot of the marketing channels don't work for InstaSteam. So, we noticed that we can't use still ads because still ads grab people's attention and they might click on it, but they have so many questions that they're not going to end up converting and purchasing the product. So we've noticed that, things like HSN and videos and natural marketing are really what people love because, it's not an advertisement pushed in their face. It's something that, they want to see and they're watching already. And, it connects with them. So we've noticed that, the lifestyle influencers, TV stuff, anything natural is really the route right now. Just using marketing channels that are already in front of people's faces rather than pushing it in front of people's faces. And we're really doing all videos right now because that's the only thing that's really working for people. Because InstaSteam is something that people have to visually see, and we have to explain exactly what InstaSteam is because there's so many questions about InstaSteam. How does it work? How long does it take? Does it make your clothing wet? Does it burn you? Does it work? There's so much. The InstaSteam is something that people have to trust in order to buy, and so the digital marketing that we're doing, it all has to be videos because people have to actually see it in action, and feel like they're actually getting the experience of InstaSteam in order to buy it. Otherwise, it's just a crazy concept to people, and it's one of those products that people are like, "Oh, that's so cool," but they can't buy it yet because they either don't know anybody that bought it yet, and they haven't bought it, so they can't trust it. So that people need something to trust. People need to see other people using it in order to buy it. So that's why the influencer marketing and the videos have been working for us right now.
I love that, man, because I really think it's people sometimes, including myself, will kind of just throw a video or a photo up there as an ad and just kind of hope it works and see if it sticks. But I think it's good to do a lot of research. And like you guys, like you said, I mean, you guys have spent a lot of time doing marketing and you figured out that the actual tutorial videos and the demonstrations are kind of the way to go. And so that's kind of what you're sticking with. That's cool. Is that something that you did on your own, or do you have like a marketing person kind of to guide you with that, or did you kind of just figure out like how did you go about that?
So when I started the company, I have a background in web development and video editing. I did a lot of stuff. So when I first started the company with my like $700, I shot. My first commercial. I literally shot that commercial on my own. There's not one person with me. It looks like there was a camera, guy maybe behind the camera or whatever, but the entire commercial was shot by me. I took a tripod and my cell phone and, set up different scenes and, recorded it multiple times, edited it together, put the music behind, clipped it together. So I started off making my own commercials and content. Only now that I have a team, do I have a marketing guy helping me. I was able to shoot my last commercial professionally with, an actual camera guy and editor and everything. But most of our original videos were either shot by customers or myself, doing it on my own. I didn't have that much help back then.
Yeah, I kind of did the same thing. I my original videos were just like, I mean, they were pretty shitty, but it was kind of just like me or a buddy just, with a crappy camera, just trying to make any scene or angle work. I've realized since then that I am not a videographer and I definitely need an adult to do this stuff for me. So since then, we've always had like people that are professionals doing it. But yeah, it just like, I just don't understand like lighting and, angles and all that kind of stuff. Like I think I do. And then I look at it and then my finished product is always worse than what a professional would have done. So I try and leave it to the pros. So what plans do you guys have for expansion? Are you going to have like other products coming out? Like, are you planning on, kind of doubling down on what you're doing now? Like, what are you guys thinking? I mean, I know you mentioned the other products already, but like, other products, I guess?
So for InstaSteam, I mean, what our vision right now, I mean, you can't concentrate on too many things at the same time, otherwise you lose track. So if you really want to make one product successful, you have to stick with that product until it becomes successful, and then you can start expanding. So we're working on other InstaSteam products, different types of garment bags, different scents, different things that can complement InstaSteam and work together with it, like stain removals and sprays and stuff like that. Um, there's definitely other products, aside from InstaSteam that I'm thinking about, and other companies, and people that I'm working with that are, bringing me ideas, and we're gonna, start working on those soon. But in the InstaSteam, company, we're probably gonna stick to anything that has to do with clothing or laundry. We don't want to like confuse people. We want to keep it all in the same category. So all those products that you can think of, that kind of exist right now can work with InstaSteam are probably things we're going to come out with.
There you go. And is this something that you've always, or I'll rephrase that, is this a career that you think you want to do long term, or is there a career like, like a data analyst or like a software engineer that you've always wanted to do?
I think this is something that I want to be an entrepreneur, long term, forever. Originally, when I first started college after high school, I had my mindset on engineering. I love designing. I love being creative. I loved math. And then after starting college, yeah, and doing a couple like actual 9 to 5 jobs, I realized that like I need to have unlimited potential. First, aside from the college part, the physics and the sciences that I hated, that's why I dropped engineering, and moved into business. But for in the work world, I need to have unlimited potential. I can't be in a business where eventually I'm going to reach the cap and I can't grow anymore. And I can't do the same thing every day. I need to be involved in everything. I need to be able to work on marketing, work on product development, manufacturing. I need unlimited growth. I can't stop. So, the sky's the limit with me, and I just keep going. There's no stopping for me, and that's why I just love this field of work. I love being an entrepreneur because you know you just keep working and you keep growing and you keep being successful, and that's the way it works. It's not a 9 to 5 job where you have your salary, you just you do your job and you get paid. There's something that you have to actually work for, and you actually feel good about yourself actually after succeeding, and you see the progress and you see the growth. I think that's why I love it.
Yeah, it just feels good to like actually, really earn something. And I think it's more like the creation, like to actually create something. Like I can look at my app and go like, I built this. Like this is like this started off as a super terrible design, and now it's like a beautiful, work of art. And I mean, same with you. Like you started off just kind of having this like, hey, I want to steam clothes with a package, or a packet or whatever. And now you have an actual product that you can drop into something and it's on TV and people can purchase it. I mean, I think that's such a cool, like there's no other place or no other, field on earth where you can do that, where you can literally build something and make it amazing and then people pay you for it. Like it's crazy. So do you guys have a 6 month goal on like where you want to, like, where do you guys want to be in, what is that, March? Like, where do you want to be in March?
I mean, so we definitely want to be in stores by March. Our goal is to start, expanding and growing now. We kept it like we are kind of like smaller and online and just doing like, that initial like online launch type of thing. But we want to, this is the time where we're going to start like blowing it up. The next 6 months or the rest of the year is our goal is to start expanding. We're going to start we're going to try to get into as many hotels as we can, cruise lines, maybe airports. This is the time to start really using InstaSteam for what it's meant to be. Until now, it was just an online product that people loved. Now it's time to actually put it into the areas where it needs to be, and really make the business grow to where it's supposed to be. And maybe in a few years, hopefully, depending on where the business is and what we decide, either keep growing it or maybe sell it off to a company that creates these types of products, kind of like Johnson & Johnson or Procter & Gamble or something like that. But we'll see what happens down the line. You never know what happens with the business. You kind of have to take it day by day. It's not good to really. I mean, obviously you want to have a long-term goal. You want to have goals, and that's how you grow the business, and that's how you succeed. but you have to take it day by day to actually and concentrate on the things right in front of you to make it successful.
And as a side note, is this something that you guys have patented, or you're applying for a patent, or where are you at in that process?
So yeah, we started off. We when we first started the company. I mean, when I first started the company, I filed a provisional patent. Because I didn't have that much money yet, so I kind of just filed a provisional patent just to get the process started. And then once I raised a little bit more money and I was growing the company, there was no way I was letting this product go to market without having some type of patent or protection on it. Because I'm the first one to ever come out with something like this, and it's definitely something that could for sure be ripped off, whether it's China or here in the United States. And there's no way I wanted to let that happen. So we are patent pending. We have a utility patent on it. We filed that a while ago.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I hope you guys get that. And well, Cole, this is awesome, man. This was such a cool interview. Do you have anything you want to leave people with? Any like inspiring entrepreneurship advice?
I think the time that we're in right now is it's an amazing time. We have so many resources. Just looking back in history, and nowadays, the sky's the limit. There's no excuses nowadays to say that I can't do something. Just because you don't know how to do something, you have the resources. You have Google, you have the internet to be able to learn how to do something. As long as you work hard and you're passionate about something, you're going to succeed. And with the technology and the resources we have now, there's no reason you can't do it.
Love it, man. Love it. Follow your dreams. Boom. Well, this was awesome. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I'm excited to see this product blow up, man. I think you guys might have a big exit on your hands down the line.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.
So first of all, you guys are all so amazing. We hit